Hello. So I am super excited for this video. So you won't know, but I am absolutely obsessed with Scooby-Doo and have been since I was, I don't know, probably like 5 or younger. And it's one of those things that's really like nostalgic for me. And so I absolutely am obsessed, and I've recently been rewatching Mystery Incorporated. I'm very much looking forward to the new Scoob film that's coming out next year. I'm not sure about the casting choices, but also in my head they also make sense in the sense of like they're trying to make it into a big budget, possibly cinematic universe, so it makes sense to have bigger names and more known names than the usual voice actors. However, I'm very upset that Matthew Lillard isn't voicing Shaggy, but I'm just gonna have to get over it. But Mystery Inc. I have been watching, and it is amazing. It's a great TV series because it's, I think, to date, the only Scooby-Doo series that kind of functions where there's like an overarching story throughout the whole 2 seasons, basically. So it's like you actually have to watch the episodes in order. I mean, you can watch them as a one-off, and that's fine. You'll get parts of it, like there's a narrative that will make sense to you because there's always like the usual structure of there being a monster and whatnot. But the rest of it, there's like an underlying mystery for the whole series, basically. So I started with Fred. Made sense to start with Fred. I thought, since he's the kind of leader of the gang, and also the sim that generated kind of started as a blonde, and I was like, well, I guess it's fate. Also, to show you how much I love Scooby-Doo, I have Scooby-Doo on my arm. So if that explains it, then I think, that's the only thing that's going to explain how much I love this show and how much I love the characters. Sorry, my voice is really croaky still. And then I went on to Daphne because you gotta have Daphne when there's Fred. And it's really interesting, like in Mystery Inc., because they address the fact that Daphne's kind of like in love with him, and like Fred is quite oblivious. Also, it's so cute that Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar are together in real life, and then they played Fred and Daphne in the Scooby-Doo films. I love that. Basically, I try to make because obviously they're cartoons, so they're not very distinctive. They've kind of all got a similar style. You can tell them apart, but like facially, when it comes to creating them, they're not. There isn't really anything to go, yes, I can see a feature like if you're recreating a real person. So I just kind of try to base their sims off of the cartoons and kind of what you could see. Like, you could kind of see how big their lips were and stuff, and that they all had like flicky noses. Ski slope noses, as my mum would call them. And then I kind of gave them personality traits that I thought that they would have, and I've kind of made so they're pretty true to the outfits are quite true to the show, but I also try to make it so they're not really odd, like the outfits that you would imagine kind of older teenagers actually wearing / young adults. I kind of imagine them being around like 18 to 20-ish, and put them in outfits that, kind of semi-stylish. Try to keep the colour schemes for the most part. I think Daphne was the most important one to kind of keep stylish given her character. And I think she probably turned out pretty successful because she's quite simple. Like, purple's quite an easy colour to do when you're not doing other colours with it. I think Velma was a little bit difficult because orange and red is a bit... not sure how I feel about that combination, but I think I managed it with a couple of things. I did go for the classic like turtleneck for her winter outfit, but for the other ones I kind of toned it down a little bit. Shaggy, I kept like the green top and red trousers, or I just put like different colour jeans. And for his sleepwear, I put like a V-neck like he usually wears, but I thought it was a bit over the top for every day, so it made it to his like sleepwear. So and I really like how they all turned out. And I realised when I was making Scooby that Great Danes don't really have floppy ears, but Scooby's got like 1 floppy ear, or 2 depending on the depiction. I went with 1 because I thought it was kind of cute. Yeah, so I like how these turned out. I feel like Daphne's got quite a like early 2000s, late 90s kind of feel to a couple of her outfits. Maybe even Daphne kind of has a little bit of that feel. One struggle I had was Fred's eyebrows. I was like, do I make them darker? Because I'm pretty sure all of the characters have really dark eyebrows in the like cartoon, but they just looked really weird. Like, he's so blonde that it just looked really stand outish, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about that, so I just ended up keeping like the blonde ones. I thought it made sense anyway. I love that top. That's the one that really gave me like a late 90s kind of early 2000s feel. I want a top like that. It's very cute. I feel like I need to revamp my wardrobe. I want to go like charity shopping. I've been to a couple like on the way to uni, but I didn't really find anything that was my cup of tea. I'm really jealous of like all these massive American thrift shops I always see like videos of, because I just feel like there isn't anything like that, at least where I live, like at home and at uni. There's like the occasional vintage sale, but they're only on particular days, and so you have to make them, you have to get a ticket, and then you're paying to go even if you don't like anything, and then you're paying more money, and then often when it's like labelled as vintage, you're paying more for it because they like upmarket it. Which is also the problem with Depop as well, because sometimes you find really cool things on Depop, but people use their Depop accounts as business accounts now, so they like go thrift shopping and then resell the things that they find for more, and so you end up paying like the same price. But I am trying really hard to just like secondhand shop, so this made me laugh because I feel like he kind of had a Shaggy vibe to begin with. But yeah, I think I had a little issue trying to find a hair for Shaggy and choose which colour blondes I wanted. I can't remember. I think I go with that blonde in the end because he's kind of like my brain always thinks he's got brown hair. And I've got these socks where he's got like yellow hair, the same colour as Fred's, but like they really upset me. But I think, I don't know, it's kind of like a yellowy browny. I thought the browns were too dark and the yellows were a bit light, so this was like the closest one, in my opinion anyway. But I guess you could also do the lightest brown. I made him quite lanky. I feel like that's Shaggy's like, I don't know, only really discernible feature other than like his hair and his little beard thing. And that's another thing I was like, which one do I go for? Because I thought like the one he had at the moment kind of worked, but it's also a bit full on, so I think I just went for a little bit of like under the chin here, like little bit of stubble, because in his character he's just kind of got like little bits of baby hair coming out here, so he just kind of looks like he hasn't shaved in a little while. So I thought that one made more sense and it was less obvious, like it was less in your face. So I think that was the balance with these, is trying to like strike like not realistic because they're cartoons, but trying to balance like making them look like their characters but not going OTT with it, because I want them to be like Sims that if I wanted to I could actually play with them and you could actually play with them. And I feel like if they're really, really over the top, you're not that likely to play with them. And where the way they are now, you could like give them a makeover and they'd look like just a normal sim kind of thing. Or you could just play with them like that, and if they're not all together, you probably wouldn't tell that they're like Mystery Inc. exactly. But I think you get the vibe. That's what I want. I wanted like the vibe without it being directly like, here's all the whole Scooby-Doo gang. Exactly replicating the comics and the films and the cartoons. And that's the other thing, there's like so many different incarnations of them. Trying to pick which one to base it off of is quite difficult. So I just kind of went with a general kind of colour scheme / vibe. I went with the green top Shaggy rather than the red top because that's like my Shaggy. You know how people are like, my Doctor Who? That's my Shaggy, the green top one, because I'm younger than like the red top Shaggy people. So, and my like kind of not my first proper incarnation of Scooby-Doo, but like the one I think of as like my Scooby-Doo was What's New Scooby-Doo. So, and then like the Scooby-Doo films, I was in like the prime age for that. And Shark Boy and Lava Girl, that was an iconic film. I remember going to see that in 3D with, do you remember those like red one side, blue the other side 3D glasses? And they made the screen look a really weird colour, but they worked for the 3D. But like, I can't imagine going to see a film like that now. Like, I see 3D films. My boyfriend doesn't like them, and neither does none of... I can't speak. None of my friends like them either, but I love them, so I always make my boyfriend go to them. Because he doesn't really care. He's kind of like indifferent. He would just rather see it not 3D. So we usually go see it 3D because I actually enjoy 3D. Although recently I've started to not care about it that much. Yeah, so Shark Boy and Lava Girl, iconic film. Maybe I need to make them in this. That would be funny. I don't know if anyone's seen that film. I hope so. Because Taylor Lautner, you know Taylor Lautner from Twilight? He's Shark Boy. So funny. It's such a weird film. And I forgot how weird it was until I watched it with a group of my friends like last year. And we were like, this is bizarre. We maybe not even watched, there was like a song I don't know. There's a song in it that's bizarre, that's like about dreams or something. And then we also watched like every Twilight film last year. They're mental. I was a massive Twilight fan back in the day. I was Team Jacob all the way. Mainly because he got all those shirtless scenes. That's the only reason, let's be honest. But I did like Sparkly Edward too, but I was Team Jacob. Because he was always like the good guy to me. Although now in hindsight I'm like, But yeah, those films, really weird. Particularly like the last 1 and 2. The imprinting thing, very uncomfortable. Yeah, not that into that one. And the fact that it was like, it's all a dream. And I'm sorry if I'm spoiling this to anyone, but I feel like if you're going to see Twilight, you've probably seen it by now. And if not, then you're probably going to have spoilers by then anyway. So it's been out quite a while. What's another... Oh, and then we watched like Shrek 2 this year. Because for like one of my friend's birthday, we went round her flat. And then we watched Shrek 2 and had takeaway. And it was really fun. I think it was Shrek 2. Maybe it was Shrek 3. Which is the good one? I think it was Shrek 2. I'm trying to remember because I kind of got them all muddled up in my head. I kind of imagined them all as like one film, and obviously they're not. They're like 4 films, but I don't think I've seen the 4th one. But yeah, in my head they've all just merged, and I couldn't tell you what like the identifying plots and songs are from each one. But I think it was the second one we watched, the one where with the fairy godmother and yeah, it was definitely the second one because he'd already rescued Fiona. Yeah. See, I figured it out eventually. I think that's the best one because that's the one that's kind of ingrained into my memory because of the songs. Also, there's like the scene with a fairy godmother singing, and then there's like, what's the song? Living La Vida Loca. I love that song. When I'm in the gym sometimes, if I go on the treadmill, I'll put that on and then I'll be like shimmying along to the song. Also, I don't know how much sound my mic just picked up of me doing that, but it's kind of funny that it did. Yeah, love that song. It's a brilliant song. It's iconic. I put it on in my boyfriend's car once and he like blared it out really loud, which I was like, oh my god, people are going to think we are really nuts. Also, speaking of nuts, whenever I think of the word like nuts or nutter, I think of Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging. So I guess we're just talking about films this episode, which is fitting given that I'm making film/TV characters, so it's fine. Oh, maybe I should make Bob's Burgers at some point. I love that show. I would attempt BoJack Horseman, but the obvious. So I'm not going to try that one. Yeah, I love Angus Thongs' Perfect Snogging too. I've just got a load of films that I love from my childhood, and they're all really, really ridiculous and out there. And I've still not seen Zombieland 2. I've seen the first one was like one of my favourite films, but I'm kind of scared of going to see the second one, so I haven't been yet, because I'm just worried that it's going to be a lot worse than the first one. I don't know. One of my friends said it was good, but like also I'm very worried because I was a big Zombieland 1 fan, so going to see Double Tap is putting the fear of God in me, basically. And not long left now. We are just on to Scooby-Doo, who is a Great Dane, I'm fairly sure. If he's not a Great Dane, then I made him the wrong breed and we're just going to have to get over it, because that's what he is now. I couldn't make him as stocky as he is in like the programme. Oh, to be fair, I forgot that there's like weight and muscle sliders, so I might go in and edit that a little bit, but before I put them on the gallery, but I don't know. It doesn't really matter that much. I tried to make his markings, but I'm not very good with these paint tools. I don't know how anyone is good with these paint tools, because I am definitely not. You know, I was going to do different ones on each leg, and then I realised I'd done the mirror thing, and I was like, they're close enough on each leg anyway, because I think some incarnations have put the same ones, some are like slightly different. That made me laugh because I kind of accidentally drew like a little dog on his back. I wasn't 100% sure what other markings he had because of the fact that there's not many views of him from behind on like Google Images, but I could see he had like some kind of spot on his back, so I just did like a really big one, and I think it works. If I happen to realise that he's got any more before I upload it, then I will add them in, but this one works. And I think that's the only markings I give him, because he's got like a really brown face. He doesn't have any black markings. And I went to like darken up his like whisker spot things, but it just didn't work. Like it didn't look that good. And then, because they were too big. And then I went to give him eyebrows like he has in the thing, but it just looked so ridiculous. So I just didn't do it. And then I was having a little struggle. I was like, I couldn't decide which colour to pick because they were both the right colour. But yeah, that's the end of the video. So I will see you in the next one. Bye.